I'm going too deep. Maybe you know what? This is how deep it needs to get, I guess.
I'm going too deep. You know what?
I'm having a good day today, so what better way to ruin it than talking politics? It's Canada Day. And then I came to the studio and did some painting, was feeling good, and I'm still in the studio. I'm in Venus right now. I was in Mars doing painting, and I saw this cartoon, political message, whatever you want to call it. I'll insert that here in the next few seconds. And it made me think, oh yeah, it's Canada Day. Like, for me, Canada Day is a day. It's kind of like New Year's. It's like I don't know. Like I don't really do anything. I've probably done things for New Year's more than Canada Day, but I generally just don't like. I don't celebrate. I don't go out and like, oh, let's take part in the festivities. Like, I'm gonna watch the fireworks tonight, but I think it's like the first. Like, I don't know. I probably watched the fireworks as an adult like 5 times. Like that's it, and that's over. I don't know. No, I probably hasn't even been 5 times. It doesn't matter. Point is, this little meme made me think. You know what? I could talk about my feelings about Canada Day in a 2 cent rant because, or a 2 cent conversation. Maybe I'll combine them again because I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know where this is gonna go yet. I'm not gonna edit that out, and I should probably edit that out. That I said I wasn't gonna edit it out. I don't know. Anyway, like I don't really celebrate. I don't know that like I was born and raised in Canada. By the way, if you're new, I was born in Cardston, Alberta. I don't know why I gave it that accent. And then I moved to Saskatchewan. I lived in Saskatchewan for 20 years. Now I'm back in Lethbridge. I lived in Lethbridge like right after I was born, pretty much. So, anyway, yeah, I've never lived anywhere else but Canada. Like I said, I was born here, first gen. And I love being Canadian. I enjoy it. I just like the thing about not celebrating Canada Day. To me, it's like I don't know, New Year's, whatever. I don't know. There's just some things like, I mean, Saint Patrick's Day isn't something I've never celebrated because one, I'm not Irish, and two, I'm not a big drinker and never have been. And even when there was like a year and a half I drank too much, I didn't celebrate that. I wasn't like, yeah, I need an excuse to get trashed. Like I don't know, I could just drink alone in my basement. but I never like needed that excuse. So I don't know. But New Year's just was for some reason never been a big deal to me. I don't know why I'm making that comparison. Just because it's like yeah, I just never thought it was a big deal. I went to things sometimes, but very 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 rarely. Canada Day, I'm just like, hey, there's gonna be a bunch of people outside. Cool. Um, I haven't really thought that much about me and my country and stuff like that. I think about my parents as immigrants. I think about how that affected me, how like being what it means to be Canadian. I guess I have thought about it a little bit because of sometimes racism and stuff that I get. That's when I start thinking about it. I'm like when people tell me to go back where I came from, and I was like I was born like an hour away from here, you idiot. But anyway, things like that I've thought about. I've thought a little bit about like man, I wish just like this sense of duality I get sometimes with being like fully blooded like Chilean because both my parents are like Chilean, and all, not knowing the language and stuff like that. But I'm very 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 Canadian in so many ways. That's just the culture that I identified with. I didn't have a strong sense of any other culture growing up. I'm going too deep. Maybe that you know what? This is how deep it needs to get, I guess. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why I'm so hyped right now. I was having a good day, like I said. So this will be a 2 cent conversation. I just figured that out. These are the rants I should cut that I don't, the little mini rants to myself. Anyway, so there's sometimes I've thought about my Canadianness before funny things, like when I think back to high school, where a friend of mine at the time could never remember like what I was, so he called me Missanadian, and I thought that was hilarious. Just like miscellaneous Canadian, you're Missanadian, because he just kept forgetting that I was Chilean specifically. I don't know. Anyway, race and stuff has just been a funny thing that I play with in a humorous way from time to time with my friends. With a lot of them, I make jokes about myself and others. But I guess, I don't know. Again, I wanted to talk about it because there's complex feelings. Like, I guess that's why it's going to be a 2 cent conversation, combining those two this week, because it's like, okay, it's, I don't know where to start. I never know where to start. I'm an idiot. I just do these things just off the cuff. I don't know where to start. Okay, so I saw this meme and I should have told you my initial reaction was the hugest eye roll ever. I'm like, ugh, eye roll into the next century. Like, it's very in vogue recently in the past couple of years. I'm not saying without good reason, but to make comments or show with memes and things that you do not support celebrating Canada Day, because celebrating Canada Day celebrates colonialism and these horrible things that happen that go along with colonialism, complete assimilation of other people's culture. When we're talking about specifically about Canada, I mean, they're talking about indigenous populations, Aboriginal peoples, and things, all the horrible things that went with conquering basically this land, and then like residential schools and systematic oppression and all these the things. I don't want to get into all the details, but obviously not good things. So I can understand that. But like I said, it seems very in vogue in the past couple of years more than before to talk about that. And like I'm saying, it's not without good reason, but it's just like Canada Day is the day, I guess, to talk about it. But you could talk about it all year long as well. You could talk about it any time, but it's like people are like, "Yay, I'm really proud to be Canadian," and then someone else is like,
"Celebrating Canada Day is celebrating colonialism."
And just like, it's just like this response, just like, okay, I was having a good time, just trying to enjoy my Canadianness, and like you had to come and slap me down for wanting to be Canadian, like wanted to enjoy myself. Sorry for hurting your feels. Yeah, it's complicated, because I said, like, the meme thing gives me the biggest eye roll ever, because it's just like this, like, it's just, I don't feel very many people when they post on social media in any form are talking about how nuanced and complex that your feelings can be about this, because like, it's just about like, hey, I'm woke, look at me. Like, that's kind of what it seems like it is. And I'm just like, I know this stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I'm in a unique position because again, I'm first generation Canadian. I was born and raised in Canada. I'm a Canadian citizen, like whatever. Like, I'm Canadian. And it's not just like, oh, I'm Canadian because I got my permanent residency card. Like, I was born here and whatever, right? And I feel culturally and everything else and my customs and things that I identify with and enjoy and whatever else, culturally, I'm also very Canadian. It's not assimilated. It's like, this is how I grew up. These are the things that I took in, and whatever. But at the same time, I've never been super like, rah, Canada's amazing. Because I'm not really a crazily political person either. It's very specific when I get involved in politics. Oh, I'm not wearing my bandana. Oh, no. It's just coincidence. I was wearing this today. So there are times where I'm not wearing my jewelry either. Anyway, there are times where I do get, political, and I obviously have political views, and everyone has a view about something political, right? And this was, talking about film the police, make them responsible for their actions and stuff like that. But I mean, when it comes to a lot of things like where we're talking about this kind of stuff, like, I don't know, it's just like politics in the scheme of everything. Sometimes I'm just like, this, I don't want to worry about this. I just need to exist. I just want to live. Whatever. So like, I've never been like super like amazingly hooray proud to be Canadian in a way that I like I'm gonna go and celebrate Canada Day by doing all these crazy Canadian things or something. Like, I'm thinking about later today. I wanted to go for a bike ride this morning. I didn't. I was like, you know what better way to celebrate the beauty around me in Canada, because that's where I live, by like going on a nice, beautiful hike. So I think I will, and I'll probably post about it on social media and say this is how I enjoyed my Canada Day and celebrated my Canada Day. But I don't like. I just don't. I mean, mostly because it's people and like whatever. I don't want to go to like the park or like the Henderson Lake or just I don't want to be around like a crap load of people and I just generally don't celebrate it. I don't know. This is just me. And you know, I haven't really backpacked anywhere, so I don't have like a Canadian flag on my backpack, but maybe I would. Maybe I'll get a Canadian flag tattoo one day. I don't know. It's coincidence, a happy coincidence for me that I have been born in Canada because I like Canada. Now, I think a lot of people would say that they enjoy the place that they live and they like it when they were born there, and it's easier to be critical and use your critical thinking skills when you weren't born in that place and you can see it from this more objective place. I like to think that I can be really objective in most scenarios, but obviously I'm fallible as well. I know that Canada has done horrible things in the past. We're not a perfect country. No country's perfect. When I see memes and messages like this, all I think of like first is the big eye roll because no one talks about how nuanced and complex the situation is, and all the like. Because these are the same people that talk about like, yes, Canada, like it's been 10 years of gay marriage or whatever, equal marriage rights or whatever, and then sometimes they add like, oh, we still have a lot of work to do. Yes, everyone has a lot of work to do. Let's just be happy about this thing that we're celebrating, this positive thing, and let's just can't we just enjoy that? Not to say that we ignore everything else, but right now this moment is about this thing, and I don't know. Like, and again, Canada Day is a perfect day, I guess, to make that message of, hey, when you celebrate Canada Day, you're really celebrating this other thing that we should not be celebrating, which is colonialism and all the horrible things that it's done to these Aboriginal peoples and Indigenous peoples in this country, or that we're just on this massive land that was not a country before. So, like, I think of all these things, and I think, like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, we shouldn't be celebrating that. That sucks. But I think when a lot of people are celebrating Canada Day, they're not thinking about that, and I don't think they need to be thinking about it all the time. I think it's okay to be, you know what, like, I'm proud of my country for these good things they've done. Like, I've often thought about, like, if I wasn't Canadian, or if I didn't live in Canada, where would I want to live? Because I'm really scared of a lot of places. Like, I would never want to go to the US. Like, I've been there one time, really only, other than, like, airport stops going to Chile. And that was in 2006, and since then a lot of things have changed. I don't feel safe there at all. I mean, if I really knew what was going on in 2006, I wouldn't have felt that safe there either, but I was completely blind to that. I don't like traveling abroad for a lot of reasons, like terrorism and all these paranoid, anxious thoughts I have of dying. So, I feel Canada's a relatively safe place in the world, when compared to other places like the US, other places in Europe, whatever. I enjoy it here because of the many freedoms that we do have, or things that we can do, or things that we're supposed to be able to do, or blah 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 blah. There's all these stereotypes of being really apologetic or being really friendly and whatever, and being a really friendly country, and that's the whole thing about, like, oh, putting your Canadian flag on your backpack because that represents, like, you're a good people. Obviously, there's horrible people here too, obviously. But some countries may have certain personalities associated with them and being like, oh wow, there's way more of this type of mentality coming from this country versus that country, whatever. Anyway, point is, I've often thought, like, oh, maybe somewhere in the Netherlands, in that general area, would be a tight place. Like that could be cool. You know, Sweden's got a lot of great stuff going on. Like more socialist type countries, I think that I would enjoy. Canada happens to be maybe on that end of the spectrum a little bit. Things like the healthcare we have and whatever else, and those are things that I like. Are those things that I like because I was born and raised here and I'm like, oh yeah, those are things that, like, or is it more objective being like, yeah, obviously that's a thing that I would want and that's a good thing? I don't know. Both, probably, but I'd like to be objective and be like, yeah, because I mean, like I said, there's other places I think I would be happy living, whether it's, you know, like Denmark or Sweden, someplace in the Netherlands, whatever, all that area seems to be pretty cool. Again, like I said, their education systems and stuff seem to be pretty advanced a lot of the times and whatever. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. I understand why, for some people, I don't know, it's part of it is the people, part of it is that you're not saying the whole message, which is the fact that this is complex and complicated, and that you yourself, whoever's posting this kind of thing, probably has some more complex feelings inside, but it's just like this thing of like, look at me, I'm being woke right now, and we shouldn't do this, no, that's a big bad. And like, maybe I've been guilty of that too. That's a possibility. Like I said, I'm fallible. I'm being critical of other people. I'm trying to be critical of myself at the same time. I wanted to talk about this at first because I was like, ugh. And then I kind of sent a message to a group of friends, and I was like, I forget, we probably talked about this, but what are your thoughts on this? I didn't really wait to gather that information because to me, talking to friends is like a form of research. However, one friend did respond, which you've seen here before. And that was Jordan, and I don't think he's going to mind me saying so. But, I mean, it was just a good reminder right before I made the video. And he said, blind nationalism is dumb, but having some pride in your country isn't inherently bad. Very simple statement, I think very true. Yeah, this is why I think, like, sports teams, like, rooting for the local team is stupid so many times, because it's just blind. Like, it's like, yeah, I grew up here, so I like this team. But this is going to go off the rails. I can't apologize for that. Not being very Canadian. But like I get it, because like, I don't know, like I get that, because how else do you pick a team? Like, the teams change all the time. Do you change who you root for every year because they have a better team and you like the coaching style of that team or whatever? It's just, the thing is, like, I like sports that I like. I don't get into sports I'm not going to the baseball games here or the hockey games here being like, yeah, Lethbridge, because I need to support hometown boys. Like, I don't know. Anyway, but that's a part of the whole blind nationalism thing in a way. That's a whole other rant for another time. I should have saved that. But, yeah, blind nationalism is dumb. One thing I talk about a lot is critical thinking, and I really enjoy critical thinking. I like it. Obviously, sometimes it gets challenging for me. I don't do it sometimes when I should, or I do it and then I don't follow through with the things I've thought about that would make more sense. But I mean, that's what Jordan had said there. Blind nationalism is dumb. Having some pride in your country isn't inherently bad. I completely agree. I don't think it is inherently bad to have some pride in your country. I think there's great things that Canada's done. I think that people that want to celebrate those great things are why not? I don't have to go into the park and like you're eating an ice cream cone and I shove it in your face and say you're celebrating oppressing people, man, or a little girl or whatever. Like, I just don't. To me, that's the equivalent of sometimes when people post things like that, depending on where they post them and how, and like in response to other people being like, oh, I had a lovely day at the lake with my family and I'm so proud to be Canadian, and then someone's just like, don't do that because that's suppressing other people. And that wasn't intention. And intention and purpose, we talk about with art all the time, are very key things. Other times, intentions don't mean anything because the actions just outweigh, you know what I mean? But I really don't think, like, I know Aboriginal people that I'm acquaintances with that celebrate Canada Day. Like, is that like saying, oh, I have a black friend, so I'm not racist? Like, I don't know. But, like, the thing is that, never mind. I'm not going to say who posted the meme or whatever. But it's just like, there are white people that post those things that are defending and responding to what are their Canadian issues, their Aboriginal issues, their human issues. So it's not like they're speaking out of turn by saying it, but it's just interesting that I'm like, hey, it's kind of like, it's just the way that it's done, that you end up speaking for a whole group of people when no one whole group of people feels that way. Like, it's very rare that, you like a religious organization, you know what I mean? Like, this is a whole other conversation for another time, but I was born and raised Mormon, and like, I know from being in that system for a long time, not all Mormons think the same thing about even fundamental principles. Sometimes they don't think the same on, right? Like, an umbrella term or an umbrella of people, like, or a label, and there's a lot of people that fit under that. Like I said, there's plenty of Aboriginal people that celebrate Canada Day, and they don't feel bad about it. And I'm not going to tell them that they should. I'm not going to tell anyone that they should feel bad about celebrating Canada Day. If someone is celebrating Canada Day because because, the white paper happened, because the systematic oppression of Aboriginal peoples, then that's stupid, shitty to do. That's really, then no, I don't support that person in their celebration of Canada Day. Then I don't support that person in saying they're proud to be Canadian, because what being Canadian to them is not the same thing that I would support. I don't support that. I don't support enslaving a race or like things like that. Why would I? But I mean, if people are celebrating for the right reasons, whatever those are, reasons that are just like, I'm happy that we are able to have these freedoms that we have things like healthcare, that I can come to this country and a lot of people support me. Like, there's a lot of immigrants that feel supported by their community, their Canadian community. Obviously, depending on where we are in Canada, some communities are way more racist than others, whatever. But I mean, like, there are people that are immigrants that love this country. There are people that were born and raised here that love this country. There are Aboriginal people and Indigenous peoples that love this country, and they choose to celebrate. Again, it's a complex issue. I have weird feelings about it because I understand the viewpoint of being like, yeah, we're celebrating a country and this country did really horrible things. Every country has done horrible things because every country is a system, and a system usually is not a great thing. Like systems, there's no one true system that stays true to whatever values it says that it's even preaching. You know what I mean? Like this is why bands and stuff like Anti-Flag are about like no borders, no nations, right? Like because that system will represent oppression to somebody, because every time you include things, you're excluding other things, right? We talk about this inclusive culture and stuff, but I mean, like, there are times where people are railing against their own country so bad, and I'm like, why do you live here then? You're an adult, just leave. Like that's, you know what I mean? I strive for betterment too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that this country's perfect. Like, you don't like it, get the hell out of here. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying, like, some people that have agency, that are born and raised here, that have privilege here, that they want to be a part of this, like, wave of, look at me, I'm woke, is what that's the first thing I can think of. And I'm not saying that they're stupid people completely, but, like, if you hate it that much, tell me what's better and go there. Like, just go to that place and then run a blog or a vlog or anything and be like, this is why I live on an island that isn't owned by a country, and I would support that then. Fine. Like, go and live that then. Live your truth. Like, do that then. You know? Like, that would be great. That'd be fantastic. But you don't do that, a lot of people, that, you know what I mean? And, like, it's like, I don't really have the means to do. Okay, like, I get it, but, like, at the same time, it's not, I don't know, it's so in vogue, it's so cool just to be that way, and I'm just like, get behind it, or don't, or like, I don't know. Like, I'm running out of steam here. I think I've said most of what I needed to say, and it's, like, again, it's, blind nationalism is dumb, pride in your country is not inherently bad. We use our critical thinking skills, and we come to a place where we can talk about nuanced things, complex things, difficult things, and say, yeah, there's some good here, there's some bad here. How are we going to pick and choose things? So that's all we do, is pick and choose things. And I don't know. I feel like if I keep going on, I'm going to keep going on for a long time. Those are my thoughts right now on Canada Day. If you've got thoughts, I would love to hear them. I mean, this is more than just Canada Day. I mean, you could apply the same thing to being a U.S. citizen, celebrating Independence Day or whatever else, right? Like I said, I understand the viewpoint when it's expressed intelligently, or even when it's not expressed intelligently. I understand what the person's saying, but again, it's their intention and purpose on why they're saying it. It makes me roll their eyes. The fact they're not saying as much as they could say. And also, I understand completely why some people would want to celebrate their country for the good that their country has done. I've been critical of my country too. You should be. You should be critical of anybody and everybody, including yourself. I think it's great to challenge systems of government. Like, we need that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with celebrating Canada Day if you do it right and aren't racist as shit.